Louisiana All-American Sports Show. 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 Louisiana. If the sports you wanna talk about, then listen to the hottest show that's coming out the South. It's Gerard, Hatfield, and Coach Perry Daniels, man. They're gonna sit you down and tell you all about the game and make it plain. 96.9 FM, that's the station. To hear the best sports talk show in the nation. Without hesitation, you should get with this and get your popcorn ready for you better not miss. Louisiana All-American Sports Show. Louisiana All-American Sports Show. Louisiana All-American Sports Show. Louisiana. It's Joker B. Check this out. In the fourth quarter, down 3 points, down with 8 seconds remaining. McKinley took the ball out. No timeouts. Didn't call a timeout. Got across half court. Donald Hunter got a pick. 2 seconds left. He releases the ball and bow. Just like that. And what a way to introduce my co-host. Just getting in. Eric Hatfield. What's up, Eric?
Hey, good morning. Hey, I couldn't have said it any better than you said it, Joker. Right off the, Donald Hunter was money. I mean, that's the expression that young people use nowadays. He was money. He had ice cold water in his veins. The young man was just he was dialed in and ready to roll. A couple of things with that. I thought it was an interesting coaching strategy to not use the timeout. I've seen McKinley in late game situations where they need a basket to win at a tie, where they don't call the timeout. They just see if the defense is ready, and if they're flat-footed, they see something they like, they go and take it one shot, one time. And with the whole season on the line, they did that. You can tell they've worked on it in practice. Russell Daniels just boom, hit him right in the palm of his hands with the ball in stride, and he had a wide open shot. So at that point, it was either Donald Hunter makes it or he doesn't.
Right, and it came down to it, and he was clutch. And that's the second game in late in the season that he was the savior.
Absolutely,
the East Ascension game,
which is what clinched the district for them.
Exactly, and so I got to give this man one more applause. Give him some applause. Give him a little love. Here's the Louisiana All-American Sport. That's for you, Mr. Hunter. Great game.
And Donald Hunter is he's on the practice court right now. I believe he'll be calling in a little bit, but definitely big props. And he's money. He's exactly the kind of guy a coach wants coming off the bench.
Oh, most definitely. And man, we couldn't have had it anywhere better. Of course, the game started out. It was a very good game. Of course, McKinley was favored, being the 9th seed.
Right.
It was almost one of the first upsets we had of the playoffs. And, man, Zachary came to play. The Broncos came to play. And you mentioned last night about them being kind of battle-tested, being in the district that they're in. Can you elaborate on what?
Right. Well, yeah, you're in the district with Scotlandville, which is the best, really, the team of the decade. There's no other way to put it. You have Denham Springs in that district, which always has a lot of talent. But for Scotlandville, might be one of the tougher teams, probably the toughest team in that district. They're one of the tougher teams in the state. And you have some solid district opponents. You don't really have, except for Live Oak, I don't see any cupcakes in that district. No disrespect to Live Oak, but you got Walker in that district. You got I'm leaving out one of the team, but you got that is not an easy district in which to compete in. Scotlandville and Denham Springs, 4 games against those guys, home and home, will toughen you up for anything. Tough environment, and that's what McKinley presented last night. There was not an empty seat in the house. I was eyeballing it. I saw probably about, I said 500 on the air. I'm thinking actually closer to 600 when you include the people that were standing on the edges. It was a full house, and they were not rattled. Those kids were not rattled, and you could tell they didn't have the girth. They weren't as big, width-wise. They had some guys with some length, but McKinley was physically better. They'd had a better record during the season. I think they just overall, this coaching strategy was better, but those Zachary Broncos stayed in there, and I mean, really, they could have, would have, should have won the game, but for a 3-point shot, which is a low, best in the game. Steph Curry only hits about 48%, so I mean, they got, oh, doggone it.
Yeah.
They, look, they did what they had to do. They just came up a little shy, and a big props to the McKinley Panthers for hanging in there, sticking with it, having a little bit of lady luck on their side, but they know they've got to come in with more energy and come out to a faster start. And that's what Donald Hunter told us after the game last night, and he was spot on.
Yeah, he was spot on. And Tyrese Radford, and they were led by the sophomore once again with 29 points. Actually,
Tyrese Radford had 10 points in overtime. These guys scored 18 points, McKinley did, in overtime, 18-8. So to me, their first quarter, they ended in 4 minutes. They only scored 17 in the first quarter, which was their the most they scored. So in overtime, Tyrese Radford scored 10 points by himself. He kind of took the game over. And I have a quote from him from the Advocate. He said, "It's basketball time now. A whole different season. The playoff atmosphere changes the game. Teams are going to play you tougher. Everything speeds up. The fouls get harder, and you just have to fight through it. We fought through adversity all year, so we're used to it." And McKinley coach Marcus Williams was like, "Sometimes I forget Radford's classification. You know, sometimes I forget he's probably the most talented sophomore that he's seen, that he's had, you know, on his that he's coached in his career." So, man, I thought that, of course, I thought maybe McKinley came in a little bit sluggish at first, and maybe with all of the excitement being down in the in the community of McKinley, winning the district the first time in 20 years, and so like Eric said, it was just a packed house last night. So a lot of support, and that brings a lot of pressure. And sometimes you can get a little bit, everybody's praising you, and it can kind of lull you into a false sense of entitlement, and too, you know what I mean? Like we're just automatically going to go in and so I think that close win should help them moving forward. I don't know exactly who they're going to play yet. That still remains to be seen.
I think it's going to be Bourgeois, but I got to check the schedule.
Yeah, we kind of looked at the brackets last night and kind of seen, but we got to get the outcome of the other games to find out. But man, what a game it was in the bottom. And like I said, man, kudos to the McKinley once again being able to overcome adversity once again, and the outcome was the same, McKinley victory. Yeah, you like that? yeah.
So if you're a fan of the Big Blue, it was definitely like I said, it was exciting. I don't know if you wanted to be quite that exciting, but the good news is that if you're a supporter of the McKinley Panthers, that they did win. Let's see, we're efforting some other scores in the Baton Rouge area. Of course, the speed of that is going to be brought to you by the power of the World Wide Web, of the internet, and also we're going to get you the future some of the games coming up for the Panthers and for other teams.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I know Glen Oaks won. They got an upset over Jennings. Plaquemine Surges passes Westgate.
Right.
East Ascension wins a nail biter last night. And so they, for their first, they got off to a good start. So we'll be watching them. I'm going to pull up some more scores here in a second to get you guys updated. I know Madison Prep won last night. I remember seeing that score. And as soon as my Wi-Fi kicks in, and it's starting to kick in, it's not acting too funny today, We
don't have to get Bill Gates on the phone this morning.
Well, not today. We got Bruley wins. They beat Port Barry.
Good for them.
63-40. And of course, we follow Bruley here. We got Walker goes down against Chalmette, 85-70. Christian Life wins 93-54 over Pope John. We also have Episcopal wins 63-51 over Red River. As I said, East Ascension wins 60-48 over Denham Springs. Glen Oaks 63-55 over Jennings. We also had Madison Prep 99 over Lauraville. Larouville.
One of those ones that's hard to call out.
Larouville.
McKinley
99-46. Yeah.
McKinley. Well, I apologize for interrupting. They will play Bourgeois next week. Bourgeois is the number 8 overall seed. Bourgeois stepped all over Barb last night. So I believe that's in a city called Gray, Louisiana. I'm not sure. I've got absolutely no idea where it is. I'm just looking at actually a strike that. I'm looking at it wrong. Bourgeois got by the skin of their teeth also, 61-60. So both these teams might have taken their foot off of the gas in their first game. It's going to be interesting. They have comparable records, actually, and comparable district records. So these are two teams that are from different parts of the state that are very similar. That's going to be very interesting to watch. I don't think I'll be able to watch it or listen to it because it's kind of far away, but this is going to be a real test for the McKinley Panthers.
Right. Okay.
Of course, if McKinley does manage to win, they get the Bowie Prize as they get the winner of Natchitoches Central and Chalmette, and I can almost guarantee that will be Natchitoches Central.
All right, we have Parkview Baptist wins 82-64 over South Beauregard. We have Plaquemine wins 79-56 over Westgate. So good for those guys. Scotlandville wins 76-38 over John Curtis. Southern Lab wins 93-47 over Hanson, and University High, which they won 95-63 over Ville Platte. And of course, we had DJ White was in the house last night.
All right.
Watching McKinley's game.
I thought I saw you talking to him like I recognized this young fella. This was different when he's not wearing his jersey. You know what I'm saying? That's how I'm used to seeing him. I knew I know this young man's face though. All right.
Right.
You mentioned East Ascension did beat Denham Springs. We mentioned that score yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, East Ascension beats Denham Springs, and let's see. The first round, like I said, Natchitoches Central wins 75-40 over St. Amant, so we're going to definitely watch those. They're the number 1 ranked team. Chalmette 85, they're the 17th ranked team over Walker.
I grew up in New Orleans. I'm very familiar with Chalmette. Unless there's food poisoning in the pregame meals, they will not beat Natchitoches Central. McKinley better get ready if they advance.
Right. Well, that's going to be the test. They're going to have to face number 1 here, in order to try to get down to the big dance.
Hey, you got to knock out the champ.
Hey, those guys don't have Cameron Lord, so I remember him.
Right. Good.
Last year.
Wishing him the best.
Right.
Away from the court.
Right. But in basketball, you never know. You know what I mean? I mean, McKinley, to me, has, we talked about it last night, they have point guard play. They have, some size on the inside. And they have a playmaker, Tyrese Radford. They have 3-point shooting with Russell Daniels and Marcus Coleman on the wings. And so, hey, if these guys play together and play discipline and try to, shore up on the turnovers.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's got to improve.
Clean up the turnovers a little bit, and I think they'll put themselves in a good position to win. So, with that being said, that's what's up. You know what I mean? So, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go ahead and go to the song of the day. This is from KRS-One, the song "More Love," and then we're gonna come back. And after we come back out of this break, we're gonna get into the meat of today's show. So I want y'all to check this out. And we're back.
All right, so
KRS-One, "More Love." Man, how can you get more better than Knowledge Reigns Supreme?
Well, they were, those guys were something. Man, they were ahead of their time. They really were.
They definitely were.
I think the world really wasn't ready for them,
I don't think they were either, and, he coined a phrase called edutainment. And, I remember when I used to follow KRS-One when I was back in my music days, and he was one of the people that I looked up to and learned a lot from, just by listening to the music, just like people do today. And, it was like, his name was KRS-One. Right. And, the acronym, Knowledge Reigns Supreme.
It's such a cool, you don't see that today. You just don't see those kinds of things nowadays.
Right. And so it made me, then he became the teacher. Not only was a rapper, but he called himself a teacher. Right. And it's like, I'm educating, but I'm also entertaining. So it was like edutainment.
Edutainment.
Yeah. And it was pretty cool. So
he and, was it BDP and, was it Scott LaRock, that crew?
Right.
They were serious about what they did.
Right. They were. And, it was pure hip-hop in a sense where it was pure in a sense where it was untouched or unedited, and, it wasn't for the masses in a sense.
Right. It wasn't.
You know what I mean?
It was different. I mean, even at that time, even in the 80s and 90s, it was different. I mean, because we were used to, you look at what kind of pushed hip-hop into the mainstream, right? Your LL Cool J's and Fat Boys and Run DMC and, trying to get you a charge there. Your Run DMCs and people of that ilk. And it was entertaining. And there was, sometimes there'd be a little message here and there, but for the most part, it was to keep the party going. These guys were very different, and they really ushered in a new subgenre of rap music, of hip-hop music, So anyway, I always like when y'all bust out the little KRS-One here and there, and a lot of the stuff that was on the radio I heard, some of these songs were new to me, so I always get a little smarter, like singing a Holiday Inn Express whenever I come in here.
Right, most definitely. Well, it's been a few things that's been going on here in the community, man. That's been kind of disturbing me and the coach. Of course, we talk about some community issues here on Louisiana All-American Sports Show. And it's been a shooting here on our man here in Baton Rouge area. Actually, there's been a couple of shootings that have occurred here in the Baton Rouge area. And, I kind of wanted to speak on it. I don't know if people know about this. I'm pretty sure they've heard about it, of course. But it's a man got shot here a couple of days ago. His name was Travis Stevenson. He was an unarmed black man, and he was shot and killed by the East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's deputies. And that was on Tuesday evening around 10 o'clock p.m. That was on Terrace Street in Eddie Robinson.
Right around here.
According to the story, let's go through I want to read the report, and I want to go through. This is actually, I'm starting to follow, and I want to kind of, just kind of throw this name out there. I kind of read this. It's called the Rouge Collection. Mm-hmm. It's a, you ever heard of it?
I've heard of the Rouge Collection. I do not know what it is.
It's mostly of a collection of different subjects, like home, health and fitness, beauty and style, entertainment, that type of thing about the Baton Rouge area, but it also has local news. And it's kind of geared toward more of an African-American magazine / website or whatever you want to call it. But they have very interesting stories in there. They highlight a lot of stories that you don't see in the Advocate, right, in other words. And so they highlighted this story. And the name of the article basically said that sheriffs in Baton Rouge kill unarmed black man and no one is asking questions. That's the name of the article. And it kind of, and I was saying the same thing, with a city this size or whatever, and how diverse this city is and the racial relations that this city has, and no one asks questions. We don't have that many. We don't have really any leaders here that really step out, whether it's right or wrong, but at least someone to have to speak and have a voice. I'm going to kind of touch on stuff about that later, but I want to get back to this article. It says that Travis Stevenson, like I said, was shot Tuesday evening around 10 p.m. According to the Advocate, the chain of the events that led to the shooting basically was he threatened, or he supposedly had threatened his ex-girlfriend. I think he allegedly sprayed her with mace, her and her son, or whatever like that. So they go over there. I think the guy has some type of mental issues.
Yeah. They
couldn't contact the guy, and so they end up contacting him through a cell phone. Mm-hmm. He told them over the phone, I don't want to talk to you guys or whatever, and I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to jump off the Mississippi River Bridge. So they go to the bridge, each bridge. He's not there or whatever. So later on, they end up getting a tip saying that he's over here on Terrace Street or whatever, these apartments or whatever. So they go over there. Now, this is where it gets kind of sketchy because, they don't go into details about really what happened. They just say they went over there and that, the next thing they know, they blocked him in his car. They break the window to try to drag him out of the car, but he tries to back up and basically they're always going to come and say he tried to run over us or whatever. That's
the beginning of the end when you start using your vehicle
right.
stops.
And so
right or wrong,
Right, and so that's what they say though. See, we don't know if he did that, but and that's my point. A person can, if 40 police officers can come together, or 6 police officers which are involved on this case, come together and say, hey, well, let's just say that he tried to run over us, and so that give us we're justified in killing this man. And so those are the issues that I have. There's no transparency on the case. I also want to know how many cases have Hill or Moore investigated for as police shootings. I know a few shootings that have happened. We have a shooting now that's actually come up today. I've seen it happened 3 years ago, but the case is coming up for is civil-wise against Baton Rouge, and it was against a police shoots an unarmed man over at Club Insomnia. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you remember that happened.
Yeah, I remember that.
3 years ago, the guy was drunk and telling the police that he don't want to move his friend's car. His friend was going to jail. Mm-hmm. Police tell him to move the car. He says, I'm drunk. I really don't want to move the car. They make him move the car. He gets in the car, and as soon as he back up and he hits another car, they shoot him and kill him. And so, it's on video and everything like that, and just, these type of things, just, no one's questions these things, and I thought that this article points out that the first question this article has is why were there's no camera footage of the incident at all? Mm-hmm.
Now, is it? Do we know? Is it sheriffs? I know the BRPD, I think, has to have cameras on for that in their cars, right? But does the sheriffs do the same?
That's a good question.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. And that's another question that he had. He said, why were the sheriff's officers inside the city limits instead of using the city police? Because
right, I thought that was curious too. Right, and there's a substation right up the street. I mean, you can walk there from Terrace Street. Yeah,
exactly.
I thought that was very strange.
What
are they doing? Unless the complaint originated outside the city limits. I don't know the answer to the question.
Exactly. And so, I just wanted you to kind of chime in on your thoughts of that for a while.
Oh, yeah. Well, look, I mean, it's unfortunately, there are more questions than answers coming from my end. I will say this much. The very first thing I was thinking when we discussed this earlier in the week, and and obviously this morning was I'm just it's a headline I'm tired of seeing. I'm tired of seeing the headline. There are a lot, we have, obviously there's some issues that are very egregious, like in Ferguson, like the Sandra Bland situation, where it's crystal clear that a death was absolutely unnecessary, if not criminal. And I guess that's in the eye of the beholder. And of course, law enforcement, generally justifiably so, gets a lot of benefit of the doubt because their job is inherently very dangerous. But we could taking criminal punishment or what off the table. Those people didn't have to die. Now, I don't know what happened here. I don't know if the guy, obviously the man wasn't right. He maced his wife and kids or his girlfriend and kids, so we know the dude wasn't playing with a full deck. Maybe he gunned it, maybe he didn't. But I got to ask, I just got to wonder, are all these trigger-happy incidents so necessary? Obviously, look, if I'm, to a man, if I'm in a situation where I feel my life is in danger or my friend's life is in danger, I'm going to do what it has to do to protect somebody, up to and including the use of deadly force. I get that. But is it necessary? Are there ways you can avoid it? The idea should not be to take life, it should be to preserve life. And maybe they had to, maybe they didn't, but I do think more questions should be asked. I think when there's any homicide, especially one involving law enforcement, these people who are entrusted with protecting the community, there should be hard questions asked. And if it's justified, it should. The truth is the light, and the light is the way, and the truth shall set you free. I mean, we've seen cops get away with stuff that is very questionable. So to me, if you really, truly were acting appropriately, you should skate. It shouldn't even be that much controversy. So I just think we should ask questions when people are killed. It's that simple. I'm not even asking for anything revolutionary. And I do get unsettled when I keep seeing these police shootings over and over and over and over again. And it's always unarmed black people. If somebody doesn't have a gun, to me, that's 9/10 of the reason to not shoot them.
Right. Well, I totally agree with you. But I wanted to bring in someone who's an old friend of mine and a real voice here in the Baton Rouge area. And I want to welcome Silky Slim. He is the CEO of Stop the Killing, Inc. here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Silky Slim, are you here with us?
Yeah, what's up with you?
Hey, what's going on, my buddy? I wanted to talk to you today about, I know you heard about the shooting here on Terry Street and Eddie Robinson here Tuesday night, and I wanted to get your thoughts on that. And basically, what's going on here in the Baton Rouge area with the police shooting unarmed men?
Well, definitely, I think the most thing to be concerned about right now is that there's no type of video footage, and I think that with as much chaos is going on across the world, or at least America, with police killing unarmed African Americans, every law enforcement should be required to wear body cameras. So that's a major concern right now. I look at what they're saying happened, and if that is the way that it happened, then it could very well be justified. But without the cameras, there's always going to be speculation. And, of course, the question is still there. Why aren't the East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff deputies equipped with cameras? That's the biggest question that we have right now.
Right. So you think that should be the question, or that should be the way that we should go as a community, is try to get all officers and require them to wear body cameras?
All law enforcement. I think that all law enforcement should be required to wear cameras right now, especially at such a burning time here in America, seeing so many African Americans, unarmed African Americans, let me make that clear, being shot down in the streets of America with very little accountability, if any accountability, for the officers that are committing these crimes. And I think that the Walter Scott case actually shows us that there are some wicked individuals on the police force that will shoot down an unarmed black man and then plant evidence on them to make it look like it was a justifiable killer. So this is the reason for us to vigorously go after body cameras for law enforcement, because we see that we do have some individuals on the force. And that's not saying, what I hate about this is that when you talk about these issues, you point out the problem. Police union and other individuals will come back and say that you're anti-police. I'm not anti-police. I'm anti-wrong. I'm anti-wicked. I have to point out these things because these things have to be addressed for us to get the type of force that we're looking for.
Silky Slim, this is Eric Hatfield with Louisiana All-American Sports. The other thing is that I agree with you totally about the body cameras, but the other thing I would think is a selling point to the police unions is that, these incidents that we have in which unarmed black men are being shot, they are news because they don't happen every day. It's news. In a typical course, I would think of the inherently dangerous job of a police officer, especially in a big city. It would seem to me the body cameras work to their benefit, that protect them, back them up, provide evidence in court. To me, it shouldn't even be a hard selling point. They don't cost a lot of money. So has that ever been, I know you're very involved in the community, I've read about you, heard about you. Do you ever bring that up that for the most part, it's for their benefit and protection more so than anything else?
I always talk about that, and I don't see why there's that force that always wants to look at the body cameras as being an enemy to police officers. It helps police officers,
I agree.
Actually, if it's the right type of police officers, and they fight it vigorously because they feel like they shouldn't have to be under a microscope while doing this job, but we feel like they need body cameras to protect both parties because at the end of the day, I don't care who you are, without law enforcement, we will be a lawless people. So we need law enforcement, but we need them to be watched and we need them to be carefully monitored to make sure that they're doing the right things. There are several cases where police officers are going to be more charged. And right here in Baton Rouge, we have a lot of cases where individuals have been killed unarmed by police. So we need to watch these things and we need to keep them and hold them accountable. And unfortunately, right now, the system is set up where they can actually kill and we can't even get an indictment based on the way that these district attorneys are in the case. So we have to watch our areas and make sure that we hold everybody accountable at the end of the day. And I think that's an important part. Now, one of the things that I have not and still not sitting well with me is that we have so many individuals here across the nation that see these type of cases, and we're quick to jump on these type of cases, but we have individuals inside of our community that commit the same crime, which is murder, and we don't protest that. We have to start protesting those murders as well as the high-profile police killings because every life is important. Every life is definitely. That's one of the biggest things that I have with the Black Lives Matter movement right now is that Black lives will never matter until it matters to Black people first. So we're trying to break that up inside of the individuals in these communities to look at the killings that take place in the urban community the same way that we look at it with a police officer or someone else kills them.
Well, man, we sure appreciate it. I want to tell you, I want to ask you, I know you just got back from Miami for the Trayvon Martin's 21st, it would have been his 21st birthday. I want you to speak on that real quick.
Very sad time to see almost 3 years have passed, or 3 years have passed, and to see the family still not have any type of justice, no closure to their son's murder, and just to be there with them and share those intimate moments was a experience. One of the biggest things of my life that happened was there. I had a chance to sit out on top of Arizona Fonte, and he was telling me that after World War II, him and Dr. King actually believed that they could change the racial condition of America within the next 10 years. He said, never in my life would I have imagined that it would be a lifelong journey. He said, I'm 90 years old now, and we're still fighting the same fight. He said he never imagined that. And I think that just goes to show that we have made some progress, but we still have a lot of progress to go, Joe.
Yes, man. You're sure right. We do have a lot of progress to go. And me and you talked off air about community leaders and people being able to, or maybe trying to start an organization to be able to address a lot of community that we have here in South Baton Rouge and just in Baton Rouge, period. You know, having a community of people from all different walks of life, all different disciplines coming together. And like you said, first being able to have Black Lives Matter to us first, and then being able to go from there. So I just want to applaud you, my brother.
Definitely, man. Definitely. And you know, I always try to make sure that I'm very proud of people like you, man, because I know we went through the struggle together. We both have been inside of hell, and God has pulled us out to give the people a message. But I want to urge our community leaders, especially our pastors, our so-called pastors, to get outside of the doors of the church, man, and start working in the streets. All of Jesus work was in the streets, man, and everything that Jesus did that was miraculous came from the streets, man. So I want to see more people that's involved in the community religious sector of the community to be in the streets, because that's important for individuals to see that they care for the individuals outside of the church, man. And until we say outside of the church and outside of the doors of the church, man, you know, it makes no sense for me to go to church for 2 hours on a Sunday to save myself from a spiritual hell and then open up the doors of the church and walk out into a physical hell, and we got the power to change, man. So I want to see that happen, though.
Oh, man, well, I sure appreciate it. I want to see it happen, too, man. Hopefully we can try to do our part to try to make that happen. Also want to definitely get you in here.
Man, anytime y'all need me, man, thanks for having me on, man. Anytime you need me, man, give me a call, man. I'm at your disposal, man. I just appreciate what y'all doing. I love y'all show, okay?
Thank you, Silky Slim. Thank you for joining us.
All right. Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
Alrighty, that was Silky Slim. Hey, that was straight. Hey, we got a guest on the line, but and we definitely got to bring him in properly. But before we bring in our guest, I need the auxiliary. Before we bring in our guest on the line, I got to say, you know, sometimes we sit here and we can talk, but we're just two voices, and when Perry's on, three voices that you hear every time, same time, same place, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, every Saturday morning, and that's great and that's nice. But sometimes it's better when you hear a different voice, kind of offering a different perspective, and you realize that we're not just kind of in a bubble on our own. But I got to say, man, straight up, what Silky Slim was spitting right there, brother, that was come on, Windows 10. Now, this is just killing my mojo, man.
Come on, man. So, well, I got applause over here too.
Oh no, I was gonna say it's oh, you know what? I hate Windows 10 so much. I was trying to say it was straight fire, man.
Download it.
Yeah, there we go, straight fire. Let's try Silky Slim. Straight fire from Silky Slim. But we have a young man on the line. Also, speaking of local heroes in the community, we have a basketball hero last night from the McKinley Panthers. Ice, cold water flowing through his veins. I know I ripped that off from the Miami Heat announcer when LeBron James hit one, but you know what? It's appropriate. With no time, as time expired, a three-point shot to send the game in the end to overtime and keep his team's season alive. Donald Hunter of the McKinley Panthers. Donald, thank you for holding, and thank you for joining us this morning.
That's what's up.
Oh, what a game. Donald, I guess share with us last night for our audience that might have missed the game, and that's your loss if you missed the game. And by the way, you should be tuned in 7 p.m. Friday night, 96.9 FM WHYR, streaming at WHYR.org for our game of the week, another playoff game coming up this Friday. But Donald, tell us about the last series. You know, you had 8 seconds left. Zachary was at the charity stripe. They hit both their free throws. Talk about the strategy coming into that situation, and then what resulted in the final 8 seconds.
Man, the play really wasn't drawn up for me. I was just in the right place at the right time, able to make the shot. Thank God I made. Thank God it went in. You know, it's just everything happened for a reason. We were supposed to, advance to the next game.
When, if I remember correctly, and everything happened so quickly, I believe it was Russell Daniels that had the inbounds pass. Once he hit you at half court and there was nobody contesting you, once that ball got into the palms of your hands, did you realize you were going to take the shot?
Yeah, I really felt like, this ball is going to go in. Like, once I seen it release my hand, I just felt it. Like,
you know that feeling, too.
Yeah, so it felt good. So which shot did you think was bigger? This shot or the shot to win the district?
I think this shot was bigger because you could have went home yesterday.
Right.
Yeah, I think this shot was way bigger.
Hey, yeah, you have been the lucky charm. You've been like the Robert Ory. God, I'm dating myself a little bit here. You've been clutch for your team the last couple of weeks. I guess older listeners know what I mean by Robert Ory. I mean just big shot. Big shot Don. We got to call him Big Shot Don. Those big shots. When we came out of the locker room, our table was at the opposite end of the court, and it took us like about a good, I'd say, we only walked 94 feet, but it took us about a minute and a half, 2 minutes just to get there because everybody was high-fiving Donald. But, look, you've been a big role player. Obviously, the two big shots in the last couple of weeks are going to get attention. They should. That's what happens in sports. But you've been a very, very valuable role player. We've been following you for the last couple of years, coming off the bench, playing defense, hustling. Talk about your role when you're not saving the season. Talk about your role with the team.
My role on the team is really bring intensity to the court, let defense transfer to the offensive side. You know, keep leadership going on the court. Even, you know, we got young players on the team. We got to be leaders to them, let them know, you know, this game is not over with, you know.
Yeah, man, I like your answer, and you kind of alluded to my next question, which was I want to commend you because I followed you last year, and I know that last year you had a lot more playing time, and you played a little bit more. Am I correct about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know this year, you know, for to be able to take a seat, knowing that, you know, you had a couple of sophomores there, and for to still be able to be ready when you came in, to be a senior, to be a leader, you know, to still get in there and, you know, be get in and be disciplined on your defense and do what needs to be done. I want to commend you for that because a lot of guys will come in and be like, oh, man, coach ain't playing me like I used to and this and that, you know. But for you to still be able to hit those two shots, because both of those shots meant something, you know, that I want to commend you on that, brother. You're very athletic. I've seen you dunk in the game, so, and I've seen your defense, so I know what you can do. Do you play other sports, and who do you look up to for as role model-wise?
No, I don't play any other sport. Maybe if I had to, I would run like track or something. But role model-wise, you mean like NBA players who I look up to?
Sports role model, yes, sir.
Sports role models, or you know, anyone in general. Or do you pattern your game after somebody, or who you like? You like Steph Curry, LeBron, Kobe, you know? Who you rocking with now?
I like Derrick Rose with the Bulls. I like how, you know, he attacked the basket and he aggressive. I like that style of game.
I can see that too because that's kind of the way he plays. You know, you got that athletic guard type of way. So I imagine you would like Westbrook too then.
Yeah. Yeah.
When Derrick Rose is not taking a seat on the bench, I admire his game as well.
When he can play.
Right, I know. No, but that is a good one right there. I got to ask you, I was wondering, I didn't ask you this last night, but when, I guess this might be a two-part question depending on your answer. When you made the basket, and of course that euphoria, that rush comes through that you can't even describe unless you were there, unless you did it. After that settled and you had the 60-second break before the start of overtime, after that initial rush of excitement settled down once the score was tied, what were your thoughts? What was the mood? What was the thought of the team?
The mood of the team? Mm-hmm. Man, it was crazy. We got in the locker room. It was just everybody screaming and hollering. After the fourth quarter, not before the end of the game, like right after the fourth quarter when the dust kind of settled a little bit after you realized you had it in overtime. In other words, in between regulation and overtime, what was the mindset of the team, the thought of the team, the mood, the attitude? Oh, it was electric. The whole everything.
Right.
The mood of the team, it was.
Did you know you were going to win? I guess. Did you feel like once y'all pulled just right? Once y'all got your head above the water, did you feel like, all right, we're going to win this game now?
Oh yeah. Overtime, when we got into the overtime, I just knew like, oh yeah,
right.
It's over with now. It's over with.
Exactly, and you're right. It almost reminded me of the Miami Heat with Ray Allen hit the shot, the 3-pointer, and it was like that. Actually, was Game 6.
That's
they
right.
Had to go to play a Game 7, and that shot sent them into overtime. But just momentum and having momentum like that.
Yep. And once they had the Game 7, it was over.
Another team to overcome that, being able to go to the brink, almost win, and then you guys. But I thought you guys. It's not like to me. You know, to me, it's not like you lucked up and win or nothing like that. I thought you had control of the game. Most of the game was just in the fourth quarter, a couple of turnovers, a couple of possessions, and they were able to capitalize and get that lead and a play here and there, a couple of missed free throws, and boom, next thing you know, it's only 8 seconds left, and we down 3 points. You know what I mean? And so this game should help you all, also let you all know. I said this before you called. I said that all of the adversity you guys been through, you know, throughout the season, you know, but at the same time, winning the district and everybody start hyping you up and saying, oh, this and that, you know, sometimes that can make a team feel like they're entitled. So when you're coming in, oh, this is 24th ranked team, we're going to come in, we at home, we got all the hype, everybody, all the people going to come see me, and you coming in and playing a little tight. And this other team, like Eric said, play Scotlandville, they play a lot of tough teams in their district, so their record made them, you know, they're battle tested. They play, they're not intimidated.
Yeah.
And so I think, you know what I mean, that shows that this should actually help y'all to know, hey, this is the playoffs, man. You know what I mean? Hey, every team that's here is good, number one. Number two is, you know, we have to play every game like this is our last game. We can't be, you know, thinking black, none of that. You know what I mean? We got to go in and handle business And I thought that you guys, at the end of the day, in the fourth quarter, when Tyrese was like, he getting ready to just, I'm forgetting, I'm finna take over now, And when you guys really clamp down y'all defense, man, y'all are one of the top defense teams I've seen, So, hey, man, good luck moving forward. Man, we appreciate you calling in, man. You is the man. You're going down now in McKinley history. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're gonna be talking about that shot for
in the barbershop 10 years from now.
Right.
Remember when Donald Hunter?
Right. You're a senior now, so Donald Hunter, you finally got something to leave McKinley with, man. You remember I hit that shot? You know what I'm saying? So you can say that forever. You know what I'm saying?
And look, you're one of the fellas today. We're going to talk about. I know you just came off the practice court, so you do what you need to do for you. But whatever you want to do, you're one of the fellas today. You're welcome to stay on, talk a little basketball with us, talk some sports. If you have to go, we understand. But you're helping host the show today. So you're with us if you want to stay till 12 o'clock.
Nah, I would give it another time. I gotta get home.
All right, no problem, man. Well, look.
Appreciate it. Hey, well, tell me this before you go. I want to get your pick for the NBA Finals. Who you like is going to win the NBA Finals? Also, I don't know if you watch a lot of NCAA basketball, but who is your college team?
College team, I like LSU, man.
Okay.
All right, good choice. Okay. Smart kid. All right.
And NBA.
NBA, I would like to see the Warriors or either the Bulls winning, because I like Curry and I like Derrick Rose.
Right. So you're going with Warriors for the repeat?
Yeah, or the Bulls, or OKC, one of them, any one of those.
Interesting.
Yeah, he liked them jump shooting.
Coach Boudreaux, yeah, I noticed it. Coach Boudreaux said OKC too.
Yeah.
All right.
Man, we want to thank you again for coming on. You know what I mean?
All right.
And good luck to you, man. And once again, kudos for that shot. You the man.
All right, Donald. Thank you very, very much. That is Donald Hunter. That was Donald Hunter. Thanks again, sir, young man. That was Donald Hunter, ladies and gentlemen. McKinley Panthers. Clutch City. Big shot, Don.
Big shot, Don.
Hit the shot.
Yeah, Don Dada.
With the district clinching and playoff win clinching shots. So we have we have to get from the young men to the grown men, or from from the boys to the men, if you will. Got to talk a little college basketball. It was a very, very rough week here in Baton Rouge.
Oh, man.
We'll start off.
Which one you want to go?
We'll start with the Jags. Boy. Yes, the Southern University Jaguars. Well, they were on a road trip, and it's always difficult to win road games against conference rivals in amateur athletics. It's hard to win road games in sports, period, actually. But yeah, you're going up against a conference opponent. They had Alabama State and Alabama A&M on the road. We knew that Alabama State would be kind of tough. Alabama State is one of the better teams in the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and Alabama A&M, right behind them. I can't say really one of the better teams, but they've had Southern's number, and they're not a pushover. Put it that way. They lost both of those games, and they really need to take one of them. When you have two teams with kind of sub 500 or fair, middle, and mediocre records in conference play, you got to take at least one of two on the road. And that road trip is going to continue today in Mississippi as the Jaguars play Alcorn State. We do not have a time on that game, nor do we have a link for TV or radio. So once again, Jaguars fans, you're going to have to kind of do your own reconnaissance there. We just don't have any media information on that. But they got to play this Alcorn State team, and it's going to get harder for Southern. Alcorn State right now is tied. Strike that. They're not tied. They're second in the SWAC, second outright in the SWAC. And Southern's on the road. And I'm going to tell you, from what I've seen lately, I just think that maybe the Jaguars are running out of gas. I mean, neither one of those games was a buzzer beater. They lost both of those games. They lost to Alabama State by 9 points and lost to Alabama A&M by 12. So, I mean, neither one of those games was particularly close at the end. I don't see it getting any better on the road in Lorman. I think Alcorn State wins this game today. Basically, Southern University's only path to the tournament is going to be to the NCAA tournament is going to be through the Southwestern Athletic Conference tournament. So they have Alcorn State today. That's the first game they have coming up between now and next week. My read right now, Joker, my take on Southern is that they're just, I think they're kind of falling back to the middle of the pack. Maybe that's where they quote-unquote really are. I thought they had a lot of promise when they started the season, but it looks like the cream is starting to rise to the top. I like the Braves. I like Alcorn State in today's game.
Oh, you like Alcorn State today? Man, I think I'm going to have to go with Alcorn State, too, today. You know, last time Southern and Alcorn State met, the Jaguars did win. And so, but I just think they're kind of like
that was here.
Yeah, that was here exactly. So, but I'm gonna go with Alabama State. Alcorn State. I'm gonna go with Alcorn.
Later this week, Southern has, in my opinion, one of its biggest tests of the season coming up. The class of the Southwestern Athletic. ESPN already has them penciled into the big dance as it is, and understandably so. Texas Southern is playing the best basketball in the Southwestern Athletic Conference. They only have one loss in conference play all year. They come to the F.G. Clark Activity Center. I want to play the fight song on my kazoo, but I want to drink the Kool-Aid. I just can't. I don't see Southern winning this game against TSU. TSU's on fire. They've actually been hammering their opponents even harder lately. Now, this game is at F.G. Clark, and it is on Thursday, and they're going to have that home crowd support. So I don't think TSU is going to run away with the game, but I do think Texas Southern's going to win. I just don't see the Jaguars tripping them up. So, I mean, I hate to be the bearer of bad news or a Debbie Downer, but I think Southern extends their losing streak to 4 games by this time next week.
Well, on this one here, I'm kind of perplexed a little bit. I think Southern. I'm gonna go with Southern in this one at home. I'm gonna take Southern in this game.
I hope you're right, Joker. That game is going to be at 7:30 p.m. on Thursday, March the 3rd. The game will be shown on Cox Sports, and there will be live stats, a link to live stats available at GoJagSports.com. GoJagSports.com. I like to speak comfort, to borrow a line from the Charles Dickens novel from A Christmas Carol. Speak comfort to me, friends. Well, much like Jacob Marley, he didn't really have a lot of comfort to speak to Ebenezer Scrooge, and I don't have a lot of comfort really to speak to the Baton Rouge basketball faithful as we had.
On the other side of town, moving quickly, rolling swiftly in the hoochie ride.
Right across to Baton Rouge. And folks, it's just I just don't really have many buckets of good news to share for basketball fans here, as Southern is on a 2-game losing streak, and the LSU Tigers are on what, in my opinion, is an unacceptable 3-game losing streak. Their last 3 losses were to Alabama at home, Tennessee on the road, Arkansas on the road. Of those 3, I picked LSU to win the 2 games against these 2 SEC teams with losing records. But I did have some trepidation about Arkansas. Arkansas is very tough at home in spite of their record. But Tennessee, they don't know which way is up, but they found up and pushed their record up against LSU, blowing them to smithereens last Saturday. That game was never close. And then Arkansas, it's like LSU had checked out of the game as soon as the second half started. It was incredible. Arkansas does play tough at home, but LSU wasn't even in the game. And I'm going to tell you something, Joker. I think something went horribly wrong last Saturday. You heard about Ben Simmons being benched for the first possession of the game. Right. And I did the body language on that team. It looked like they did not feel like being there. They checked out on Johnny Jones. I don't know what was said. I don't know what happened. But I think Tennessee was the beginning of the end for LSU.
Man, I can't do nothing but agree with you. I'm sitting back and just shaking my head. Its theme is starting to fall apart a little bit here. Everybody and everyone, even the NCAA, was kind of pushing and really like they was trying to help LSU get into the tournament.
Right.
You know what I mean? We all wanted to see Ben Simmons. Now they're starting to fall apart a little bit. Senior guard Keith Hornsby is out. I think that hurts them a little bit, especially on their defense.
Away that, yep.
And their defense is where they're really hurting. That's where they gave up the game to Tennessee and Arkansas. And so, man, can they right the ship?
They have, I don't want to say adjust what the doctor ordered coming in, because Florida's not a pushover, but Florida's in a little bit of a rebuild. They're in that first year without Billy Donovan on the sideline. The new coach, and his name is slipping. It's like a very common name. It's like something down the line of Mike Smith or Mike White or something like that. I got to get the coach's name, but I think he's done. They lost a lot of seniors. They're in a rebuild, but what I saw earlier this year when they played in Florida, they showed they were clearly capable of hanging with LSU. They showed that they could hang with LSU, and that was in the swamp. Now they're coming back here. It's going to be on ESPNU. They're going to have that home crowd at their back, and that cannot come. I'm sorry, I said ESPNU. Wrong. ESPN. It's on ESPN 1, 7:30 p.m. on ESPN. They're going to have them there. They're going to have that home crowd at their back. I do think, it's like I keep picking LSU and they keep making a fool of me. But the truth is I can't pick against them with Florida coming here. I think LSU has more talent. I think even in spite of the tribulations they've had inside that locker room, coming back to the PMAC, I think they get it back on track against Florida today. But I wouldn't bet the farm on it. I wouldn't bet my lunch money on it.
Well, I agree with you. I think that this is the time, and for some reason, Ben Simmons always shows up when he's on national television, from what I've seen.
I wonder why.
So I wonder why. So I'm going to pick LSU today. It's broadcast on ESPN. And so I think LSU, and then it's just what the doctor orders. So this is perfect for them. This is this is an underhand slow pitch for them.
It is.
Knock out the park. So I'm going to go with LSU.
They have coming up later this week. LSU has the Missouri Tigers. So I don't know if our Missouri correspondent Derek Thomas is listening. We have a pretty large contingency in St. Louis, where Coach Perry Daniels is from, that tunes in every week. We're very thankful to have you. They do have Missouri coming up. That is Tuesday, March the 1st, 8 o'clock our time on the SEC network. Missouri is a funny team. It's a real funny team because they, on paper, this could be a just what the doctor ordered kind of situation. I mean, Missouri, this isn't the Missouri team of a few years ago. This team is 3-12 in SEC play, but they have a team that frankly, they're going to the PMAC. I think LSU. This is what the doctor ordered. I think LSU steps all over Missouri in this game. I think they win this game handily against the Missouri Tigers. This is just what they needed, and they better get it. If they don't win that game, I think you can stick a fork in them for the entire season.
Desperate time calls for desperate measures, and just like you said, they're going to need it. And so this is not like an upset win they need. So I think they can overcome them and win that game. So I'm going to pick LSU.
So we'll see. Hopefully we're right about these picks with LSU. I hope you're right on your pick with Southern against TSU. And like we do regularly every week, we always try to talk about who's right and who is wrong. And here is, again, this week's edition of I Told You So.
I told you. What did I tell you? Didn't I tell you? 'Cause I told you. And when did I tell you? A long time ago. And what did I say will happen when I told you? Exactly what just happened.
2 losses in conference play. Southern has 3. I think they're going to have some trouble with Alabama State, but I think they lose that game competitively. And to beat Alabama A&M.
Right. I'm going to second that, actually. I'm going to go with the same picks you have this week.
But I even though they're on the road and it's very hard to win road games in the SEC, I expect them to pappy slap Tennessee.
I think so too. I'm gonna go with LSU.
Even though it's 2 road games, and I don't think LSU swept 2 road games in a row this year, but I'm actually going to pick them to beat Arkansas.
I'm going to pick both of them to beat Arkansas, and that's coming up. Speaking of moving on.
Yeah, moving on. In about 1 minute, we have coming up Noel Jackson with Music Satisfaction here on 96.9 FM, WHYR, Baton Rouge Community Radio. Well, it's coming.
I want to move on from that, from those picks.
Oh, you're not just whistling Dixie, man. Come on, Baton Rouge. Let's pull it together, Southern. Let's pull it together, LSU. Shoot, wow. Good basketball coming up. We didn't have as much time to discuss as we hoped, but there's going to be a very, very good game coming up between North. There's some NBA action coming up tonight too.
Well, Saturday. Oh man, Oklahoma City and Golden State.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'll be locked in. I between that and the LSU game, I think I might just watch that and hope and pray that LSU beats Florida like they're supposed to. On the college scene, North Carolina against Virginia at 5 o'clock today. If you're a basketball fan, you might as well just order some pizza, grab some beer, and just veg out in front of the TV set today because it's going to be a great game. It's going to be a great day for basketball today. Well, look, we're coming up to the end of our journey. I'm going to give a shout out as always to Baton Rouge's semi-pro football team, the Louisiana Eagles.
And I want to give a shout out to my mom, Gwendolyn Hawkins, my daughter, Kayshara Ben, to my whole Baton Rouge area. Thank y'all guys for listening. I want to also thank Silky Slim for calling in and giving us his opinion and being great, man. Thank you.
Shouts out to ADT and JNS if various folks are listening, and you all have a good afternoon.
Hail to the king and lots of love. May he protect us from the evil. Hail to the king, lots of love. May he protect us from evil.